Hi, this is Joe again with another review. When I say this video, we'll be discussing the 1942 horror movie, The Mummy's Tomb. So Leonard Channing Jr. as, the mummy in this film. Of course, this movie is a direct sequel to the 1940 film, The Mummy's Hand, which I've not seen yet. I am planning to watch it, and I want to be able to watch it and do a review on it. But right now, let's focus on the direct sequel, which is The Mummy's Tomb, which came in 1942. Which came out which is supposed to be based 30 years after the previous film, which was The Mummy's Hand. Because this film is on Universal's second run of horror films, compared to its original run back in the 1930s. So they decided to retrend and do a lot of sequels for the brands already of the monster films, especially monster movies. Of course, the original mummy was played by Boris Karloff, and that was played the mummy Imhotep. That particular mummy is no longer shown boiled because he was killed, and that's about the only real monster movies in the whole Universal monster film cycle in the 30s and 40s, which they didn't bring back. So they had to come up with a whole new mummy and a whole new premise and a new mummy and a new curse, all that type of thing. So that's what Universal did. And of course, Karloff didn't do it anymore, so they brought back Lon Chaney Jr., who of course played the Wolfman, as the new mummy. He played him in The Mummy's Hand, and now he plays him again in The Mummy's Tomb. Like I said earlier, this film takes place 30 years after The Mummy's Hand, where one of the guys who was on that expedition in The Mummy's Hand tells the story of what happened in the previous film. And usually, and that time they didn't do that. They did it with the Bride of Frankenstein, they rehashed what happened in the beginning. When they made Bride of Frankenstein, they used some of the footage from the original Frankenstein movie to recount what happened. But the difference is between Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, that's about like 4 years behind those two movies. The distance was four years. This time it was only 2 years. And about the first 10 or 12 minutes showed the footage for having the previous film. And this movie is just barely over an hour. So if you use like a tenth of your running time to recount what happened, I mean, it's like real. I mean, you're talking about bad attention spans today in 2018. You can imagine what the attention spans was back in the 40s with World War II going on and everything. So they spent 10 minutes recounting what happened, and then the rest of the movie is when the priest from The Mummy's Hand, who survived getting shot and rolling down a large staircase, happens to survive and sends his younger protege to resurrect the mummy that was in The Mummy's Hand, to go after all the gold seekers' revenge on the family of every man in the Banning family, which was the family that was in the head of this expedition in the previous film. So that's what pretty much ends up being like a revenge flick for the next 45 minutes of this film. And of course, it gets one person after another gets killed. Even an elderly aunt gets killed by this mummy. You see the mummy all wrapped up and in the bandages and the makeup all over the face. And it's really, really, that type of movie. And that's what you see for the rest of this thing. It's just a real big revenge flick. And this movie got panned in 1940 because it was ridiculous plot. Like I just said, that the priest who was supposedly killed in The Mummy's Hand ended up surviving getting shot and rolling down this big staircase, comes back and takes his revenge on the Banning family, which is just it's almost kind of like what the slasher movies in the 80s were like. That type of trying to resurrect either Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger, or not really Freddy Krueger, but Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, from the Friday the 13th films, to resurrect these characters to go seek revenge on the family. That's what this series was about 30 to almost 40 years before those movies came out. They did that bit, so I feel that Halloween and the Halloween films and the night Friday the 13th sold that bit for these for every time you do this video, I always get interrupted by the motorcycles outside. So I feel those two movie series took that premise from these mummy films into always resurrecting the creature to go kill their enemies. I think they took that premise from this film, and it was really silly. But first time I've seen this movie, and I didn't think it was that bad. I think maybe we were enjoying it more. We saw the mummy's hand first, which I did. I saw the mummy's tomb first, instead of watching them in order, in chronological order. But I didn't think the movie wasn't that bad. It wasn't that great. I thought it was too short. But it is what it is. And for the first time watching it, I just watched it just the other night. I just didn't think it was that bad, and a lot of people said it was. But of course, I always kind of like this old, cheesy Universal monster film movies. I kind of like it better than maybe some of the other ones. The Hammer movie series, I haven't really seen that many of them. I only saw maybe one all the way through. I saw like The Curse of Frankenstein once. Like about 10 years ago, I saw it once. But the Marvel Universal monster, because they're the ones who set the trend for Hammer and the slasher films that I grew up with in the 80s. That set the trend. So that's why I have a knack for the Universal monster movies. So The Mummy's Tomb, I'm giving it a positive review despite its flaws. It's a watchable movie, especially those who like the Universal monster stuff, like I do. It's watchable movie to cross off your list, just to say I watched this movie. And that's how I got out of these mummy movies. Because I used to remember back in the early 90s when the Sci-Fi Channel first started, they used to show these movies. Like all the 4 weeks in October, the 4 full weeks in October, Monday through Friday, every week they used to show a different series. One week was Frankenstein, the Frankenstein movies. They started off with the original one first. And it had Bride of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein, The Curse of Frankenstein, and The House of Frankenstein. And the next week they showed the Dracula movies. And then they showed the Mummy films. And I think they showed the Wolfman next, and then they showed the Mummy films. And of course these movies they used to show. They showed the original one on Monday night, and then the rest of the week they showed the rest of the series in chronological order. And all of them were hosted by Christopher Lee. But I think it's been like over 20 years since the Sci-Fi Channel has done that, and which is pretty sad. I mean, I think it was damn cool to have these movies on, hosted by a real horror movie star, Christopher Lee, and it was cool. And he would give like little trivia notes. Like before YouTube, he would come on and he'd give you all these little bits of trivia about these movies. And like I said, they should have at least somebody like Sven Gulli or the Cinemassacre guys, James Wolfe. I think it's James Wolfe to introduce these movies and give little bits of trivia during commercial breaks. It would be damn cool to have someone to do that. And today, in 2018, to revitalize these Universal monster movies. But I know I'm rambling on a little bit because there's not much to say about The Mummy's Tomb. Like I said, the only problem I have was too short, like an hour and 3 minutes, more or less. But it is an entertaining movie I mean, like I said earlier, it is what it is, and it's enjoyable. Like I said, you should have watched The Mummy's Hand first, and maybe you will enjoy this movie better. So that's my review of The Mummy's Tomb. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com, so WDY, and then C.com. There's a homepage and Rowdy Reviewer. Please need more, and please check out all my videos on my website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.